But a lot of other people, a lot of these disciples who are in it for the Elon trade are peeling out. They're watching the CEO of this company all day, spending time on Twitter, tweeting stuff that is actually alienating potential Twitter customers. And then let's not forget all the issues that they have with China, zero COVID, access to rare earth materials for their battery. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. This is probably not only one of the worst looking charts in the entire stock market, it's probably right now, one of the worst fundamental stories too.
A number of philosophies on how to execute with urgency while innovating in extraordinary ways. I mean, you look at SpaceX, first company to land a rocket on a ship in 2015. They've done it over 100 times. No one else has done it since. I mean, when have we ever seen in technology that there isn't somebody nipping at the heels and no one's been able to replicate that? I think it's incredibly hard to ever bet against Elon.
In this video, one of the dumbest motherfuckers on planet Earth, without question, says that Tesla's fundamentals are terrible. In fact, some of the worst fundamentals of any company on Earth right now. And he said this out loud. Not only does the chart look terrible, and remember, technical analysis makes sense, but yeah, that's right, you heard it here. Tesla stock down more than 50%, near flawless execution, selling every vehicle they make, industry-leading profit margins, scaling faster than anyone, printing insane amounts of money. Some of the worst fundamentals of any company right now. This, ladies and gentlemen, is why I refer to Dan as literally one of the dumbest motherfuckers on planet Earth. No hyperbole. And in the interest of fairness, just to represent the entirety of the bell curve, rather than just one far extreme end of it, we also have Jared Isaacman, somebody who's become intimately familiar with both Elon Musk and how he operates his companies, sharing some thoughts on Tesla, SpaceX, and Elon Musk's Twitter acquisition. I got a funny feeling this will be a rather spicy video, and while we're on the topic of spicy videos, that is exactly what I posted exclusively to Patreon this morning. Near 20 minutes of super spicy content, some cold, hard truths spat by the top G himself, Andrew Tate, regarding Elon Musk, the plague, censorship, fact-checking, Elon's Twitter turnaround, free speech, and plenty more. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, this particular Patreon exclusive, far, far, far too spicy for YouTube. No, really. If I posted that on YouTube, next minute, banned. So if you want to check it out, head over to Patreon with the card in the corner or the link in the pinned comment. And yes, the Patreon takeover continues. Currently executing on my plan. Add value, grow Patreon, win. So far, so good. I just can't for the life of me figure out why this plan's working. I mean, post 4 exclusive videos in the last 24 hours on Patreon, add enormous value, people keep joining, it's almost too easy. And remember, the clock is ticking and just a few days left. You won't hear me repeating this message for much longer. Doing my best to give everyone fair warning. If you're thinking about joining Patreon, don't delay. Let's leave it at that.
Oh, hey guys, it's me again. Did you miss me? I'm just kidding, I know you missed me. Well, only about 85% of you, the other 15% said I fucking hope I'll never see that guy again, he's so annoying. Well, guess what? I'm here, so sucked in. Anyway, I just wanted to say, don't join Steven's Patreon. He's a dumbass, he doesn't know anything, there's no value there, and he doesn't even know how to do technical analysis. Therefore, not very smart, okay? Fuck this guy, I'm taking over the channel today. Let's lose some technical analysis and understand why Tesla stock is going to at least $140 per share. Or less.
More losses. Carter Worth joins us now. Carter.
Yeah, I even think maybe it's not could, but is due for more losses. Let's look at the charts. I have 7, I believe. Sounds like a lot, but they're all the same time frame. So here we go. There is a chart of Tesla, basically 2-3 year chart. No drawings, no lines, no judgments. Let's put some lines in. So what do we know? We know that there's a well-defined uptrend line.
Just want to make sure everyone watching is following along at home, because we just heard there is a clearly defined line. In other words, it's just so obvious that there's only one line you can put on this chart. And let me prove that right now by drawing some lines that don't fit on this chart, that don't show the trend on this chart. Very important you understand this, because this can make you a lot of money. Okay, ready? Let me draw the line, okay? As we can see, this line right here is not the trend line. See? It's wrong. Because that's not the line that tells my narrative and technical analysis. Makes sense. But if we draw a different line instead, what about this one? No, that doesn't quite tell my story either. Hang on. The one true line. Where's the one true line? There it is, see? And now, it's fallen below the line. Can you see that? Can you see that, guys? It's fallen below the line. The trend line. And this was obvious. Because if you drew the trend line before it fell, you would know that it was going to fall below the trend line, and then you would short Tesla stock. Make a lot of money. And I can tell you, it's going to do it again over here. See this? You know what's going to happen here? This line is going to go even further down here, okay? Because of the trend line. You understand? The trend line here is going to go all the way down here. Maybe somewhere like here or something like, I don't know, something like this. It's going to, I don't know. Anyway, the chart is obviously showing Tesla stock is going down even lower, going much lower. Because we can see, if we go back to here and retrace the trend originally from this point, so in this area around 2019, that's when Tesla stock started going to the moon. And by 2020, you know, it was going really, really well. Okay, and Tesla stock continued to follow the line up here. I mean, this is very clear cut, ladies and gentlemen. So it's very obvious from here, Tesla stock is going to fall somewhere here in this area, likely around this particular point. Obviously, Tesla stock is going lower, as the chart clearly shows, because of the trend line. So obviously, I have sold all my Tesla stock. I'm just kidding, I'd never buy that. What a shit company. But all these dumb Tesla fanboys, these long-term investors, aka long-term dumbasses who were always wrong, are really going to regret holding Tesla stock. And if they're buying more Tesla stock now, man, they're really going to regret that. I'm just trying to warn you. All you Tesla fanboys and fangirls obviously have not been attending the Mark Spiegel School of Capital Destruction. Highly recommended.
We broke trend and then we rallied back to the underside of that line, hit our head to the penny, and then basically straight down over the last 3-4 weeks. Look at the next iteration. What this tries to point out is the authority of that line. So the line was support and the stock kept bouncing off it. But once you undercut that line, it becomes a level of overhead supply or resistance. The arrows annotate that. Let's draw the lines another way. So here's the down arrow, and that's key. Are we going lower from here? Here's why I think we are. Look at the next iteration. This is as well-formed a topping out formation as you can find. You can call it a head and shoulders. It doesn't matter what you call it. We know that the stock peaked before the stock market, and today it made a new 52-week low. Not many stocks in the S&P did that, only a dozen or so. That's a problem. Let's keep going. Next iteration. Look at those lines on the way up and on the way down. Those are perfectly symmetrical lines. Tesla has hit those lines repeatedly. Last and final iteration. Basically, what do we know? The stock is breaking below its June lows. The market is above its June lows. Only a few stocks are as bad as this, but given its size and its constituents, its beloved, I think it's a big problem.
See? If you dumb Tesla fanboys would just learn how to do technical analysis, you'd also be a quintillionaire like this guy.
Carter, thank you. Carter Braxton Worth of Worth Charting. Guy, I'm going to bring back an old line fast money game that we used to play a long time ago. It was called higher or lower. I know that you remember this. So Tesla, higher or lower based on what the chartmaster just laid out.
So if I think the stock is going higher, I say higher. That's the correct way to play this game.
I think this is why we got rid of it.
Lower!
Yes.
Lower!
Yes, that is how you play it. Okay.
Lower! And we've been saying, listen, it's not like we just said this, and we've been saying it for a while. The stock's now 50% off its all-time high, and I think it's headed to 175. We've been saying that for a while, so lower, Melms.
Bonawyn, what do you think?
Lower. Lower with a question. Does this mean this is a leader to the downside, or is this the bottoming out that people are looking for a rally?
What do you
Is
say?
that a new game? I'm really confused. All right, listen. I think all right, here's the thing. I think it's going lower because I think these are Tesla shareholders voting with their shares. Elon owns 15% of this company. Then I look at Vanguard, BlackRock, Capital Group, State Street own about 20%. So think about that. Those are really concentrated holdings, about 40% or so. I doubt they're selling, but a lot of other people, a lot of these disciples who are in it for the Elon trade are peeling out. They're watching the CEO of this company all day spending time on Twitter, tweeting stuff that is actually alienating potential Twitter customers. And then let's not forget all the issues that they have with China, zero COVID, access to rare earth materials for their battery. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. This is probably not only one of the worst looking charts in the entire stock market, it's probably right now, one of the worst fundamental stories too.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. One of the worst looking charts and some of the worst fundamentals in the stock market. Something has just occurred to me. I want to share this thought with you, ladies and gentlemen, even though it's very controversial and could trigger a few people. I actually am now harboring a sneaking suspicion that the only reason Dan is on the panel is so people can laugh at him, his colleagues, his co-anchors, and general viewers. I swear, every time this idiot opens his mouth, anything relating to Tesla, and by the way, when I say Dan is a complete and utter fucking moron, I've only ever heard him talk about Tesla. He may know lots of things about lots of other things, but when it comes to Tesla, the guy should not be talking. Every time he opens his mouth about Tesla, I swear, Melissa Lee looks at him with scorn, disgust, and amusement all at the same time. Watch your face at the end of this segment. Tell me this isn't somebody whose face is telling you everything you need to know about what she thinks about what's coming out of this idiot's mouth.
Right now.
For you right now, one of the worst.
And now, for some stark contrast, after we've explored one end of the bell curve, intellectual and emotional bell curve in fact, let's head to the other side, to Jared Isaacman, who has a few things to say about Elon Musk, Tesla, SpaceX, innovation, and why it's never wise to bet against Elon Musk.
Last time you and I sat down, you were training. We're doing fighter jet training as you get ready for your first Polaris program mission, your second space flight with SpaceX as soon as March. Is March still the time frame?
It's still looking like mid-March, so I feel very fortunate to be part of that program. We've got a lot of great things going. I mean, SpaceX is an extraordinary organization, trying to learn as much as I can from such an innovative company, bring a lot of that back to Shift 4, try and establish some of our Shift 4 way. I think that's kind of reflective in our numbers this quarter as well.
I'm just curious then on that. What would be something you learned from SpaceX that you would bring back, for example?
I mean, so I went to space as part of Inspiration for September of 2021. November of 2021, we've launched the Shift 4 way in Shift 4. I mean, a number of philosophies on how to execute with urgency while innovating in extraordinary ways. I mean, you look at SpaceX, first company to land a rocket on a ship in 2015. They've done it over 100 times. No one else has done it since. I mean, when have we ever seen in technology that there isn't somebody nipping at the heels, and no one's been able to replicate that?
Now, believe it or not, this really matters. If you're a Tesla stock investor, in particular, Jared rightly points out, it was 2015 when SpaceX first successfully recovered one of their boosters. It's now 2022. They've since done this more than 100 times. And how many other times has any other company on the planet done it? 0. Surely this couldn't happen again, could it? Maybe, for example, in mass producing extremely profitable, compelling, high-performance electric vehicles that no one else can touch? Or maybe in terms of solving generalized autonomy, years before anyone else comes up with a comparable solution. I'm just kidding, that would never happen, because as we know, the competition is coming, just like it came for SpaceX. I mean, that's just like it's still coming for SpaceX. So nothing to see here. The competition is finally coming. Tesla stock's going lower.
They have a secret sauce. I've definitely been lucky to be able to observe that over the couple of years, bring it into Shift 4. It's things about how you take out the parts, how you operate as a flat organization, how you execute with urgency, how you fail very quickly and learn from it in order to iterate and optimize, in order to deliver better products faster out into the market. So
we've got some breaking news here, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, right. So apparently it's confirmed Jared is an Elon D rider. He's a Musk fanboy. In fact, he's being paid by Tesla and SpaceX simultaneously to say good stuff, because as we know, Elon Musk is a fraud and a liar and a con man. And also, Tesla's going bankrupt. The only possible explanation for somebody like Jared Isaacman, a billionaire entrepreneur running his own company, claiming to have learned things from Elon Musk and how he runs his own organizations, the only possible explanation is it's a big fat lie and somebody's paying him, because Elon's a fraud. Haven't you heard?
It's definitely been a big part of what we've been trying to incorporate into our DNA over the last year.
You think he'll do the same at Twitter then? I mean, it sounds like a lot of those things are happening real time right now in the reports we hear about that company.
I think it's incredibly hard to ever bet against Elon.
Fact check, false. It's actually quite easy to bet against Elon Musk, providing you have at least one of the following: emotional and or brain damage. Just wanted to make sure we set the record straight on that one.
So, I mean, he's done this multiple times over. I mean, there's a lot of entrepreneurs who've gotten lucky with one organization, right place, right time. I mean, this guy's done it so many times over again. I don't know how you can't think he won't be able to deliver the same magic to Twitter.
This guy's such a dumbass. As if a track record of repeatedly and consistently doing the impossible across multiple organizations, industries, and technologies over multiple decades has any bearing at all on the potential success or future endeavors of this entrepreneur/fraud man called Elon Musk. P.S. Billionaires are bad.
So you don't think that he would be stretched given the fact that he has so many ventures on his plate?
He had a lot of ventures before it.
So do you.
I mean, he obviously has an incredible amount of things going on. I think every one of the initiatives all comes from the idea of making the world a better place. I truly believe that. I think he's shown us that in Tesla. He's done it at SpaceX. I'm sure he's going to do it at Twitter as well.
Makes two of us, Jared, but hey, what would we know? Now, I'd just like to take a brief moment to bow down to the intellectual titans that understand how to technically analyze charts. As we've recently heard today, some breaking news: Elon Musk selling more Tesla stock on Friday, Monday and Tuesday, causing the stock to go lower, which we could read in the charts ahead of time. As we saw, it was obvious that Elon was going to sell, and obviously the stock's going to go down because Elon's going to sell. That's what the chart said. Although they did forget to mention the whole Elon selling part as, the whole driving the stock down. But they were right. Tesla stock went down because technical analysis Makes sense. As we can clearly see, the chart showing unequivocally Elon Musk is going to sell here. That would have been Friday, and also here. And then finally, also some more sales today. Technical analysis, undefeated once again. Bitches. Now, if you guys and girls will excuse me, I'm just going to go purchase a few online courses to learn how to technically analyze stocks so I too could make quintillions of dollars every time Elon Musk sells Tesla stock, because I'll know who's going to do it before he does, because the chart told me so. So brilliant. And remember, it's almost the final warning to join Patreon before it's too late. You can do so with the card in the corner or the link in the pinned comment, and I'll see you over there. I love ya.